Welcome to the 2021 Golf Summer Series race number 6. Today we're here at the Steelback Stadium in Pittsburgh for the PPG 400. For the first time in Summer Series history, we're here in the Steel City for some short track action for the second time this week. And as 35 drivers and teams prepare for this inaugural race, we're going to take a look at the starting lineup. So on the pole we have Johnny Hernandez and next to him Joe T. Row 2, Ross McTrain and Lipsy. Row 3, Aiden Robertson and Devin Payment. Row 4, Nick Sant and David Johnson. Row 5, your winner from Texas World, It's Movement and Nelson Reeves. Row 6, Ryan Wilson and Keyshawn Richardson. Row 7, Kellen Baker and your winner from Myrtle Beach this past Wednesday, Brendan Beal. Row 8, RC Gamer and John McFadden. Row 9, Jason Albert and Matthew Burnett. Row 10, Kyle Salmon and Brad Reim, your winner from Mexico City. Row 11, Trey Smith and Matthew Hill. Row 12, your winner from the Roval, Hoodlum and Dan Matteillo. Row 13, Herbert Solomon and Rain Vela. Row 14, Random J and Dan McTrain. Row 15, Brittany Crothers, your winner from Armor Digital and responding with a teammate, Dominic Payment. Row 16, Owen Miles and Jordan Forbes. Row 17, points leader, Jordan Stout and Richard Herman. And starting last of row 18 is Nonigan Scott. And now it is time for the starting command here in Pittsburgh.
Drivers, start your engines.
Let's take a look at the track info here for today's race. So I'm going to go 70 laps on the 7/10 mile long short track with the AI difficulty set to 103%. And that's for the weather here today in Pittsburgh, 88 degrees Fahrenheit with 6 miles per hour towards the southwest. Now the reason why we set the AI difficulty to 103% is to avoid a situation like we saw last year at Iowa where 10 cautions happened in that race, barely had any racing, so hopefully we can see less wrecks here today at Pittsburgh. But regardless, we have a sellout crowd here in Steelback Stadium, ready to see some short track action for the second time this week here in the Golf Summer Series, after a rather chaotic race this past Wednesday at Myrtle Beach. And here we go, pace car already down pit road. As the field comes off to number 4 for the first time ever, the Golf Summer Series is under green here in the Steel City. And as the field comes off to number 2, Johnny Hernandez in the 46 current with the advantage. But into 3 this time by Joe T in the 17 on the outside. Still side by side, holding his ground with Johnny Hernandez. For Hernandez off forward, lead lap number 1 here in Pittsburgh. Most of this field still side by side. We got some 3-wide action towards the middle of the pack there with John McFadden on the inside and Brendan Beal, winner from Myrtle Beach, in the middle. See, it's 3, some cases 4 wide in the back. As the front 2 are still side by side for the lead. Looks like Hernandez will clear Joe T as we lead lap number 2 of 70. Ross McTrain in at 35, still right behind Hernandez off turn number 2. As he's now, oh, Devin Payment goes for a spin in the back straight away. We saw Nick Sant, the 52, go all the way to the bottom to avoid any damage. Looks like he will be able to. Looks like Devin will also continue the rest of this race as we take a look at the instant replay to see what caused this. Looks like David Johnson just turned Payment into Nick Sant. Looks like both drivers didn't suffer any serious damage from that, so they both continue the rest of this race, as well as the fact that it was still under green, so no caution for that. Meanwhile, we got a battle for 4th here between Lipsy and Aiden Robertson with David Johnson now in the picture. All 3 of these drivers looking for a good day here at Pittsburgh, as all 3 of them also were involved in wrecks this past Wednesday at Myrtle Beach. Behind those 3 are the Baker Racing teammates of Kellen Baker and Ryan Wilson. Looks like Baker will clear his teammate for the 7th position, with Nick Sant, the 52, still inside the top 10, despite being involved in that Devin Payment spin a couple laps ago. In the turn number 3, Nick Sant on the inside of Ryan Wilson, which will clear Wilson for the 8th position. Nick Sant up to the 8th position, while Ryan Wilson falls down to 9th. And there's your winner from Myrtle Beach this past Wednesday, Beal, looking for a second straight Golf Summer Series win, as well as a second ever Summer Series win, as that Myrtle Beach one was his first ever. Behind him, we got a battle for 11th between the two rookies of RC Gamer and John McFadden. Much like many of these drivers in the field, both McFadden and RC are looking for good point days here in Pittsburgh, as both of them were involved in wrecks this past Wednesday. Matthew Burnett behind these two, currently in the 13th position, kind of ironic for car number 13. Came to this race 26th in point standing, struggling so far this season. Behind him is Movement in 14th. He came to this race 22nd in the points. And despite winning at Texas Royal, that 5 team has not had luck at all these past several races. Hoodlum in the 3 car, currently in 15th. He came to this race 14th in points, coming off a rather pedestrian run at Myrtle Beach. Behind him is Kyle Salmon in the 36, Herbert Solomon in the 67, Brady Carruthers making up 16th, 17th, and 18th respectively. Owen Miles currently in 19th. We got a battle for 20th here between points leader Jordan Stout and Nelson Reeves. Like Nelson Reeves will clear Stout for the final top 20 spot. Stout, of course, started all the way back in the 33rd position, but he is on the inside, and for most tracks, the inside was his preferred place to be. Behind him is a fellow Jordan Forbes, in the 22nd position. Got passed by Stout's teammate of Keyshawn Ernstein, who falls on the 23rd. Now comes Dominic Payment side by side with another Illinois Indy driver in Random J in the 53. Of course, Dominic led the most laps in Myrtle Beach this past Wednesday at 35, but ended up getting involved in a mid-race wreck. Dominic passed by Random J in the 53. Is now comes Richard Herman now side by side with Random for the 25th position. See Dan McTrain, Matthew Hill also back here. Nunnigan Scott up to the 29th position after starting last. There's Rain Vale and Dan Matteillo. Matteillo continuing to struggle this season. Right now he's dead last in points. Very, very disappointing start to one of our championship favorites this season. Those are on board with Joe T here in the 17. Joe T came this race 19th in the points, but he's currently on a streak of 2 straight top 10s, with finishes of 9th and 8th in the past 2 races. And right now, Joe T is looking to get his first ever top 5 in the GSS. Almost got it last Wednesday at Myrtle Beach, but lap traffic in that race dropped him to the aforementioned 8th place finish. Meanwhile, lap number 15 to 70, Johnny Hernandez has led every single lap so far here at Pittsburgh. And you can see Ross McTrain still running in the 3rd position. So far, his best run in this GSS career. Ada Robinson, his teammate, also right behind him as well. Definitely a good sign for that RC Motorsports team here today that's been struggling for the most part this year. And speaking of RC Motorsports, Movement got passed by the owner of RC Motorsports, for I believe this is the 11th position. As now RC and Matthew Burnett are trapped on the outside. Here comes Hoodlum and Kyle Salmon trying to pass the 42 and 13 here. These 4 cars are still side by side into turn number 3. Looks like all 4 Hoodlum will pass by RC Gamer for the 12th position, but won't clear him just yet, as you complete lap number 16 of 70. Got the 2 ally cars of Owen Miles and Herbert Solomon side by side. This is for the 18th position. Miles came this race 13th in the points, actually going into Myrtle Beach, who was inside the top 10 in points. But after wrecking out one of his other Dracone racing cars in Trey Smith, was relegated to finish below the top 20. See Nelson Reeves got passed by Random J there. There's now Jordan Forbes and Herbert Solomon side by side. That's for the 19th position. Meanwhile, back to the battle between Hoodlum and RC Gamer for the 13th position. Greg Hoodlum will finally clear RC as we complete lap number 19 to 70. But in the 1, RC still on the outside fighting for that position. Off turn number 2, Hoodlum clears RC Gamer. No, they're still side by side down the back straightaway. And into turn number 3, Hoodlum still with the advantage, but we finally clear him. Yes, he finally will clear RC Gamer for that 13th position. And while that's going on, Hoodlum's dad and teammate Johnny Hernandez is now pulling away to approximately 0.3 of a second lead over Joe T. So Owen Miles gets turned by Matthew Burnett in the wall. Keyshawn Ernstein has damage. Herbert Solomon in the wall. Rain Vale and Matthew Hill also with damage as we're under caution here at Pittsburgh as Matteillo now gets turned by Trey Smith. Oh my goodness. Quads of carnage already here at Pittsburgh. as we hit lap number 22 of 70. And as you can see the damage to Owen Miles' car, the thing is absolutely destroyed. He is done for the day. Rainville in the 8 also have tons of damage, and Herbert Stallman, heavy damage to that 67. As now, we're going to take a look at the instant replay to see what caused this rather decent sized wreck. So this started coming off turn number 2 and into the back straightaway. Owen Miles and Bradford Burnett were side by side for positions here. So it looks like Burnett just turned Miles into the wall. Miles just came back on the field, collected Keisha Richardson and Herbert Solman into the wall. Rainville almost nowhere to go for her as well. And then Trey Smith just turns Matteillo into the paint there. No damage to the 14 car. Let's go on board for Owen Miles here. And definitely got turned by Bradford Burnett. Just everyone piles in there. Rainville, like I said, nowhere to go for her in that 8 car. Let's go on board Jordan Stout, who nearly avoided this wreck. So he nearly hits Miles there, nearly gets hit by his teammate. Now comes Jordan Forrest back on the track. Jesus Christ, almost rear-ended him. A great mistake for your points leader. As we're under caution for the first time ever here at Pittsburgh. We'll be back with you guys after this. Welcome back to the Golf Summer Series here at Pittsburgh. We're about to go back green after a multi-car incident in the back straightaway involving Owen Miles, Rainville, Bradford Burnett, Keisha Richardson, among others. As one of the other cars also involved in that was Herbert Stallman in 67, who had to come down pit road to get repairs for said caution. He's currently a lap down. As currently the only 2 cars in the garage area include Rainville and Owen Miles, who, as I mentioned, were involved. This past caution got both drivers getting heavy damage. But anyways, Johnny Hernandez, Joe T, and Ross McTrain make up your top 3. As we're back in the green here at Pittsburgh, lap number 25 of 70. And a great restart for Johnny Hernandez into turn number 1 as Ross McTrain makes it 3 wide in the middle between Joe T and Herbert Solman. And now Solman's going to hold up Lipsy behind him in the 9 car. We saw this past Wednesday at Myrtle Beach how lap cars can negatively impact a leader's race. As now Solman gets turned by Lipsy into turn number 3, into the wall goes to 67. Caution flag back out, so the rest of the field will manage to avoid Herbert Solman. Looks like Hernandez that time was the leader once again. As now it looks like everyone will come down pit road for the first time here today. As we got some cars stacked up here in the back straightaway as they all try to come in pit road. Oh, it's Trey Smith. I ended up getting a little bit of damage there as he ran to the back of Devin Payment. But anyways, all the leaders down pit road, single file. Let's see what everyone go here for tires and fuel. As Hernandez gets in his pit stall, Joe T also in his pit stall. Both going with right side tire changes. Well, they do left side, so it looks like both of them will. A. Rob's already done a fifth pit stop, and that's for the race off of pit road. Johnny Hernandez out first, Ross McTrain second, Ada Robertson up to 3rd, Calvin Baker up to 4th, and Lipsy are on off the top 5. So definitely a bad pit stop there for Joe T and that 17 team. As now we'll take a look at the instant replays here, what caused our second caution of the day. So we're going to start analyzing this wreck immediately after the green flag on this past restart. Solman on the inside makes it 3 wide with the leaders. And there's Lipsy right behind Solman off turn number 2. Let's see Lipsy trying to pass Solman to gain spots here on the track, but Lipsy just had enough of Solman's BS and just took him out into the wall and off turn number 4. It looks like Solman's able to continue the rest of this race, much to the dismay of the leaders, as they're going on board with Lipsy here. Yeah, Lipsy trying to pass him. Just had enough of him and just dumped him. Honestly, don't worry blame Lipsy for doing that at all. Probably did a favor for literally every driver on the lead lap. But anyways, under caution here at Pittsburgh for this rather savage move by Lipsy. We'll wrap up with you guys after this. Welcome back to the Golf Summer Series here at Pittsburgh. We're about to go back green after Lipsy essentially just dumped the lap car of Herbert Solomon off turn number 4. Basically doing every lead lap driver a favor. However, unfortunately for these lead lap drivers, since all of them went down pit road, Solomon was actually going to restart right in front of every single lead lap driver. But currently right now, Johnny Hernandez, Ross McTrain, and his RC Motorsport teammate Ada Robertson make up the top 3. And as the field comes off turn number 4, we're back in the green here at Pittsburgh. Hernandez and McTrain going past by Solomon. Solomon can hold the rest of the field. It looks like most of the lead lap drivers inside this top 5 able to get through, including Lipsy. See if he's going to dump him again. I don't think he will, as Lipsy will clear the 67. Solomon so far doing a decent job trying to stay away from the rest of the leaders. But up front, it's still Johnny Hernandez with the Catberg seat. Currently has an approximately a little over 0.2 per second lead over Ross McTrain, where his RC teammate Ada Robinson trails by almost 0.4. Meanwhile, off turn number 4, here comes Lipsy side by side with Kellen Baker, lap number 32, 70 this time by. Looks like Baker is able to hold on to the 4th position into turn number 1. Here's Brendan Beal also trying to hold off John McFadden for the 8th position. Of course, Beal trying to get his 2nd straight Summer Series win here today. Meanwhile, a little bit deeper in the field, we've got a battle for 12th between Movement and David Johnson. Kyle Salmon right behind the 2 car. I would maybe assume Johnson and Salmon either had a bad pit stop and or got slowed down by Herbert Solomon, who was still on the outside lane. Has done a decent job so far of avoiding all these leaders, unless he goes on the inside there. Meanwhile, back up front, the gap between Ross McTrain and Hernandez is still about the same as we last checked. Still a little over 0.2 per second. As we're on board of the 35 here. Now that gap's now down to less than 0.2 per second. So far, ever since this past restart, McTrain's done a really good job of keeping up with Johnny Hernandez, who's by far had the fastest car all day, winning every single lap so far. Hernandez leads another lap here, lap number 35 or 70. But McTrain is still less than 0.2 per second behind Hernandez. Into turn number 3, McTrain looks to the outside. He's losing a lot of time on Hernandez off turn number 4. As you reach the halfway point of lap number 36 to 70. Yeah, that time by, McTrain lost almost a full 10th on Hernandez. And now he has to deal with his teammate Ada Robinson, who's also trying to get his first ever Summer Series win. In the turns 3 and 4, McTrain now back on the inside lane, trying to regain that lost ground on Hernandez. And of course, still counting your defending series champion, Kellen Baker, is still holding on to the 4th position. One of the races he won last year was Martinsville for our 2nd race of the year, so definitely has knowledge of getting around short tracks. Behind him is Lipsy, he's still trying to seek his first ever Summer Series win. Still holding on to the 5th position. There's Joe T still in the top 10 in 6. Of course, he saw during the last pit cycles, had a really bad pit stop, came into the pit road 2nd, but lost over 4 positions, now down to 6. Nick Sant, after nearly getting damage from Devin Payment sprint earlier in the race, still in the 7th position, been very consistent all day so far. As now comes Lipsy once again, side by side with Kellen Baker. Looks like this time into turn number 1, Lipsy has a run on the inside. He's going to force Baker up to the outside with Joe T right behind him in the 17. But into turn number 3, Baker will still hold on to the 4th position and will clear Lipsy. Oh, Salmon forms into the wall off turn number 4. Oh, Richardson hits Salmon there late. As the caution will come back out for the 3rd time here today at Pittsburgh. And as you get the damage to both Salmon and Forbes, as well as Keisha Erson. And as a matter of fact, all 3 of these drivers going in this race were inside the top 10 in points, so this is definitely going to shake with the point standings big time after this race. And as that unfolded, Johnny Hernandez once again still with the lead. As we're going to take a look at the instant replay, so it caused our 3rd caution of the day. So all this started going into turn number 3 as Salmon was right behind Random J into 53. Like Salmon was trying to turn Random, but then comes down on Forbes off 4, sends both of them into the wall. And Keisha Arnson almost nowhere to go for him in that 24. Has a piece of that car flying off, definitely a pretty violent hit for the 24. As we're going to go off the back bumper of Random J here. So yeah, Salmon tried turning him off 4, ends up saving it. And Salmon and Forbes just go around instead. Let's go on board for Keyshawn Richardson. And yeah, definitely nowhere to go for him. Nothing he could have done there. And this is actually not the first time Keyshawn Richardson was involved in an accident today. He was actually involved in our first caution of the race. As we're back in the caution for the 3rd time here today. We'll wrap you guys after this. Next weekend, the Golf Summer Series heads to the Talladega Super Speedway for our 2nd Crown Jewel race of the season, the Geico 500. WS channel Saturday night at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Definitely one you do not want to miss. Meanwhile, here in Pittsburgh, we're about to go back green after our 3rd caution today. This one involved Kyle Salmon in the 36, Keyshawn Richardson in the 24, and Jordan Forbes in the 61. Richardson currently in the garage area, done for the day as he joins Rangeville and Owen Miles. And as you can see, Salmon 36 also on the inside behind Herbert Solomon. Currently in top 3 is Johnny Hernandez, who's led every single lap of this race so far. Ross McTrain and Andy Robertson in the 1 right behind him. And as we come off turn number 4, we're back on the green here in Pittsburgh. Into turn number 1 once again, Hernandez pulls away as we're 3 wide of the lap cars, with this time Herbert Solomon in the middle. He's going to hold up Kellen Baker, and now Salmon's going to hold up Lipsy on the inside. And if you remember in this race, the last time a lap car held up Lipsy on the inside, he dumped him. Or we do it again to Salmon. It looks like the RC cars and McTrain and Robson pull away from the lap cars, as the rest of the top 10 is still struggling to get past by these lap cars. Kellen Baker is one of them. Looks like Joe T and Brendan Beal will be cast by. As now into turn number 3, Nick Sant currently 3 wide in the middle, with John McFadden on the inside. Well, Baker finally gets passed by his lap teammate, as Lipsy continues to struggle with the lap cars. He's forced up 3 wide on the outside, as there comes RC Gamer and David Johnson off turn number 2. Lipsy's still stuck behind Salmon, as now Random J makes it 3 wide with Brandon Carruthers on the inside. Jordan Stout looking to the inside of Lipsy off turn number 4 as he turns him in the front straightaway, collecting none against Scott. Lipsy goes for a spin in the paint, able to correct it and get back on track. As we're going to take a look at the instant replay to see what caused that. So this was going into turn number 3. Lipsy was 3 wide of Random J. As just Stout just turns him off 4. So this is 9 car for a spin. Then against Scott with damage to that 86, both able to continue. But like Devin Payment earlier in the race, he's going to lose several positions. Currently he's the last car on the lead lap. But as all of that happened, Johnny Hernandez is now pulling away with an over 4/10 per second lead over Ross McTrain as we come down to lap number 50 to 70. Johnny Hernandez then at 46 team, desperate for a good run. He came this race 33rd in the point standing, so was one of your championship favorites going into the Summer Series season, but so far has struggled mightily, not even getting a single top 10. And up until today, only led 4 laps in the entire season. Ross McTrain also right behind him in points in the 34th spot, also getting some very good points. As we come down to lap number 51 to 70, 20 laps to go here in Pittsburgh, as it's now time to go Golf Summer Series, crank it up. Lap number 61 of 70, only 10 laps to go here at Pittsburgh. Ross McTrain has closed up the gap a little bit between him and Johnny Hernandez. Now down to approximately 0.3 of a second. Eddie Robertson still holding on in the third position. A little over half a second behind as we come down to 9 laps to go. As I mentioned before, crank it up, Ross McTrain is another driver who has failed to get a single top 10 or top 5 of the season, and has in fact led 0 laps this season so far. Same could also be said for Aiden Robinson, who only led 7 laps of the season so far. Joe T in 4th, back inside the top 5 after a really bad pit stop a couple cautions ago. Nice rebound for that 17 team as they look to get their 3rd consecutive GSS top 10 thus far. Behind him is Brendan Beal, winner from Wednesday at Myrtle Beach. Currently in the 5th position as that 22 team continues to impress. He's looking to take over the points lead as Jordan Stout is outside the top 15 as of right now. John McFadden currently in 6th. Nick Sant still in the 7th position, but again, very, very consistent all day here at Pittsburgh. Kellen Baker down to 8th after the lap car scuffle. His teammate Ryan Wilson 9th, and Hoodlum inside the top 10 for the first time here today. David Johnson in 11th. Ruben in 12th, RC Gamer in 13th, and Brittany Carruthers in 14th. There's Random J in 15th, and there's Devin Payman in 16th. Very respectable rebound for the 88 team after spinning out back in lap number 3, putting them basically in the tail end of the field. There's Jordan Stout currently in 17th. You also saw Brad Reim in 18th, and Dan Matteillo in the 14, rounding off the top 20. And as we cut to Lipsy, who's currently in the 30th position, the last car on the lead lap, after spinning out just after the restart, has caught up with the rest of the field. See if we can make up any more positions here. And there's the 2 lap cars of this race, Herbert Solomon in the 67 and Cal Salmon in the 36. Both involved in accidents in today's race. Meanwhile, we'll come to lap number 67 to 70, only 4 laps to go here at Pittsburgh, as Johnny Hernandez continues to pull away ever so slightly from Ross McTrain. Into turn number 3, Aiden Robinson trying to get a run off his teammate for the 2nd position. But if Robinson tries to pass McTrain, that's going to do nothing but allow Hernandez to basically walk away with the win as you come to 3 laps to go. But regardless of what happens here, this is still a really good run put on for these drivers inside the top 3. Because as I mentioned, going into this race, none of these drivers currently in the top 3 didn't even get a single top 10. But for today, they've been inside the top 10 for this entire race. Definitely kudos to these teams here today at Pittsburgh. As we come to lap number 69, nice, with only 2 laps to go. As all around goes Brad Reim in the 40 car. Looks like it got turned by Dominic Payment in the front stretch. No caution as Johnny Hernandez comes off turn number 4 to see the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Pittsburgh. Hernandez into turns 1 and 2 for the final time. See the lap car there, Herbert Solomon, but he's not going to play a factor for Hernandez as he goes down the back straightaway for the final time. Going into today, Johnny Hernandez was below the top 30 points and only led 4 laps in the entire season. But here today at Pittsburgh, he's going to lead every single lap in dominating fashion. Checker flag is out. Johnny Hernandez is a winner here at Pittsburgh. Congratulations to Johnny Hernandez and Hernandez Racing, the winners for today here at Pittsburgh. Definitely, again, a dominant performance for that 46 team, and this one is definitely going to help that team a lot. As now I'm going to take an instant replay to see what happened to Brad Reim with 2 laps to go. So this is coming off turn number 4 as Dominic and Brad Reim are coming to 2 laps to go. Took off of 4, Dominic just spun out Bradley into the paint, Reim into the wall. Pretty minor damage, was able to continue the rest of the race. Definitely a tough break for Brad Reim as he was inside the top 20 before that happened. As now I'm going to take a look at the finishing results and point standings after this race. So here we go, Johnny Hernandez finishes first. This is his 2nd career Golf Summer Series win. In fact, all of his NR wins here in the Random J Series came from short tracks. His first came at Bristol in the night race. His winter Street Stocks win came from Barnesville. And now add Pittsburgh to that list. So definitely kudos to that 46 team here today. Ross McTrain finishes 2nd. Also a big kudos to that 35 team. Also came this race really deep in the point standings. Was able to stay inside the top 5 throughout this entire race. Same could also be said for Aiden Robertson in 3rd place. Definitely a good performance for RC Motorsports here today. Definitely a performance that team really needed, as they've been struggling so far in the season. Finishing 4th is Joe T for his 3rd straight Golf Summer Series top 10, while Brendan Beal in 5th gets his 4th straight top 5 of the Summer Series season. So the 17-22 teams have been on a roll these past several races. John McFadden finishes 6th, Nick Sand in 7th. Definitely a good run for them, as they both came in this race sort of in the middle of the pack in the point standings. Kellen Baker finishes 8th, Ryan Wilson in 9th, and Hoodlum will round off the top 10. And now for the point standings after race number 6, and Brendan Beal, as I mentioned, will take over the points to lead with 212 points, while Jordan Stout falls to 2nd and bottom with only 5, so the highest running Pontiac in the points. And as you see so far this season, the top 2 in points have built up a relatively decent cushion behind everyone else, as the next closest driver, Kellen Baker, is behind by 21 points in 3rd place, for Random J is behind by 22 points in the 4th position. So guys like Baker and Random J just gotta hope Beal and Stout have a bad couple races to potentially pounce for that points lead. Trey Smith in 5th, behind by 36. Brendan Carruthers back inside the top 10 in points. In 7th, currently the highest Chevy in the points. They've been relatively mediocre this year. Joe T inside the top 10 in points for the first time this year in 7th. Keith Sherrington falls to 8th. Nelson Reeves in 9th, and Hoodlum in the top 10 in points for the first time this year, rounding off the top 10. And as you see, 4 out of the 10 drivers inside the top 10 in points are Pontiac. So Pontiac's been on a roll so far this season, not just with Atlanta Indy Motorsports, but also the single car team with Joe T. So kudos to Pontiac for their program so far in the season. So next up, race number 7, we head to our second crown jewel race of the season, and it's probably one of the most unpredictable and crazy ones of the year at the Talladega Super Speedway for the Geico 500. That'll be on the channel Saturday, June 12th at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Super Speedway races always produce crazy action here in the Golf Summer Series, so it's definitely one you do not want to miss. But as always, y'all, thank you guys for watching this race. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.